You don't need me to tell you that the animal kingdom is a very intense place. I mean, it must be extremely brutal to be an animal, with fights happening so frequently that probably over 50 disputes have already started while I've just begun speaking. And some animals, well, are better equipped to handle this than others. These are the 20 toughest animals on the planet. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Tardigrades. Well, this is surprising. Tardigrades are microscopic organisms found in various aquatic environments around the world, and they may be some of the most resilient creatures in nature, even though you can barely see them. Also known as water bears, these funny and contorted caterpillar-shaped animals have 8 legs, segmented bodies, and flat heads. And if environmental conditions become too dangerous, they can do a cool trick to survive. They transform into dehydrated balls called ton, and simply wait until the environment improves. Not only do tardigrades have an amazing defense mechanism, but they are also extraordinarily resistant to many environments. They can survive exposure to radiation, boiling liquids, and intense pressures in the depths of the ocean. So, don't worry about cockroaches. It turns out these funny little water bears might be the last ones standing when all of us are gone. Undoubtedly, these small, resilient organisms could probably do well down there too. Number 2. Anaconda. Among all the snakes in the world, the green anaconda is by far the fattest. This colossal creature may not grow as long as the reticulated python, but it is extremely bulky, making it much heavier, sometimes even double the weight of a python. Green anacondas are part of the boa family. These reptiles can grow over 9 meters long and have a diameter of 30 centimeters, weighing up to 250 kilograms. To get so big, these snakes need to feed on large prey, and among their favorite meals are deer, wild boars, caimans, and the occasional jaguar. Anacondas are constrictors, not venomous. They coil around their prey and squeeze until the creature suffocates, then swallow the prey whole. As with many snakes, females are larger, and they blend in perfectly with their jungle habitat. Their olive-green coloring, dark oval spots along their spines, and yellow patches along their sides help them blend into the vegetation of the rainforest, where they can ambush unsuspecting prey. Number 3. Bullet ant. This is officially the ant with the most painful sting in the world. Sounds super fun, right? Their name supposedly comes from the fact that being stung by one of these ants feels like being shot. And yes, you'd probably be better off running from them. It's the most sensible option. They live peacefully in tropical forests, and fortunately, they're not particularly aggressive and only sting when provoked. But if you happen to upset one of these ants, you can expect all of its friends to show up at the party and start attacking you too. That's right. If you're unlucky enough to be stung by a single bullet ant, it will release a chemical that alerts all the other bullet ants nearby, and then they'll swarm you and sting you until they can't anymore. So, if you're in the tropical forest, be very careful where you place your fingers or feet, because otherwise, you'll have to be prepared for a pain described as a blinding electric shock, repeating in waves of agony that can last up to 24 hours. Yummy, huh? Number 4. African buffalo. The African buffalo is a heavyweight in the animal kingdom, weighing up to 830 kilograms and often living in large herds. These animals are powerful due to their size and numbers. The main characteristic of the African buffalo is that it's generally considered prey for a multitude of predators, as well as human trophy hunters. Being attacked from all angles can make anyone a bit paranoid, and these buffaloes have a nervous temperament. Combining nerves of steel, a temperamental personality, and immense bodies, you get the perfect combination for a dangerous beast. Oh, and they also have enormous horns for impaling you. With the ability to run up to 60 kilometers per hour, buffaloes have a very powerful defense. In a herd of 50 to 500 animals, these creatures are a true force to be reckoned with. A stampede of them charging your way is terrifying on an epic scale. Individually, the buffalo possesses its enormous mass, surprisingly fast running speed, impaling horns, and an unpredictable nature. Big game hunters who set out to hunt buffaloes sometimes end up worse off. And not just figuratively either. Ouch! Number 5. Harpy eagle. This is a bird with a fierce appearance. Its curved beak and crazy hair make the harpy eagle look like a mix of an owl and an eagle. The harpy eagle is named after the Harpies of Greek mythology, a half-human, half-bird monster that personified the destructive winds of storms. Now, if I were a harpy eagle, I'd be a little annoyed with that comparison. The mythological harpies were usually considered ugly, and they were believed to make the most horrible sounds. So calling anyone, even a bird, a harpy is, well, rude. And you don't want to upset one of these giant birds. The harpy eagle is known to be the heaviest and strongest among raptors, with speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. Its talons are so powerful they can literally crush its prey to death with a strong grip. This colossal bird's favorite meal includes large animals like sloths and monkeys, or even deer, iguanas, and snakes, devouring a heavy meal before dragging the rest of the carcass back to its nest for later. Number 6. The Tasmanian devil. Now you know the cartoon character, but in real life these animals are much cuter. These unusual creatures live only in Tasmania, off the coast of Australia. The Tasmanian devil looks like a small bear, but it's actually a marsupial. You know those animals that have tiny babies and then carry them in a pouch until they're big enough to live outside? Think kangaroos, wallabies, and others. But what exactly makes these small creatures deadly? Well, I guess it's their name, which sounds pretty scary, so they must be at least a little mischievous. And in fact, this name comes from the shrill and insane screech that the Tasmanian devil is known for. When Europeans first encountered the animal, they thought in that classic and ignorant colonial way that the terrifying sound came from the fact that the animal was in fact a devil, which of course makes perfect sense, right? Maybe their name is a bit unfair, since they're unlikely to harm a human, but they can give you a very painful bite if you mess with them. They prefer food that's already dead, mainly feeding on carrion, and they have strong teeth and jaws to chew bones. They're also very noisy eaters, but if you're a chicken, you should definitely worry, because the Tasmanian devil is known for killing chickens, and has a special fondness for easy prey, like farm animals. Number 7. The giant anteater. So, how can a toothless animal with poor eyesight and hearing be a deadly threat, you might ask? Well, except for ants, of course, as the name suggests. Let's find out. Giant anteaters live in Central and South America, usually minding their own business while rummaging the ground for ants. They typically avoid humans, but they have some defense mechanisms that they put into action when feeling threatened. A giant anteater can grow up to 2.1 meters in length and has its famous long snout, but it also has 4 super sharp claws on each of its front legs. These claws are mainly used for digging into termite mounds and ant nests, but they can actually be used as weapons. When a giant anteater stands on its hind legs, it uses its tail for balance, much like a tripod, stretches its arms out, and it's not asking for a hug. This anteater is ready for a fight, and those claws can even kill a human. So, as friendly as these animals may seem, and despite all the cute anteater memes, the giant anteater is, in fact, a deadly animal. Number 8. The Wolverine. Wolverines are tough creatures. Although they look like small, funny bears, they are actually the largest members of the weasel family. They live in some of the coldest places on the planet and are known for being grumpy and somewhat aggressive. Though a wolverine is not a large animal, unlike the muscular Wolverine from X-Men, these creatures are aggressive and can be quite dangerous in the wild. They mostly eat carrion and scavenge leftovers, but they are also extremely effective hunters when they feel like it. Despite their small size, wolverines can take on quite large prey. They are known to bring down animals as big as bison and moose, which is impressive. These guys are about the size of a medium dog and are fierce, capable of delivering a very painful bite, so it's better to avoid them. Number 9. The rhinoceros. The critically endangered African rhinoceros is one of the most extraordinary animals on Earth. The few that remain in the wild are still at great risk from illegal poaching. Their horns have long been considered valuable, despite being made from the same material as our nails and nothing else. The disgusting illegal rhino horn trade has pushed these animals to the brink of extinction. Where they still exist, rhinos live in savannas and open grasslands in countries like Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Namibia. There are two species of African rhinoceroses, the black rhino and the white rhino, although both are actually the same gray color, which is curious. But both types of rhinos are also incredibly powerful and massive. These animals typically weigh between 800 and 1,800 kilograms, but some can weigh up to 2,900 kilograms. You wouldn't want one of these guys stepping on your foot. Equipped with two horns and an extremely strong and powerful build, the rhino's strength lies in its ability to charge at potential aggressors and overpower them with sheer force. Unfortunately, poachers still seem to have the upper hand, despite the rhino's apparent strength, and these beautiful creatures are running out of time. Number 10. Spotted hyenas. Perhaps better known for being scavengers, spotted hyenas are also incredibly powerful hunters. They use their group skills to hunt and capture prey with chilling efficiency, but they are just as likely to let a lion do the hunting and then use their threatening teamwork skills to chase the big cat away and steal its dinner. Hyenas are always in a large group. The proper word for a group of hyenas is clan. I mean, there's safety in numbers to start with, but these animals also know that when they work together, they are much stronger and more effective hunters. They can chase their prey for several kilometers at speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour, which can really tire out an unlucky animal targeted by a hyena clan. When they finally catch up to it, escaping the group can be very difficult. They block all the routes and start taking turns nibbling and biting the trapped prey. The idea of hyenas circling and laughing is actually a pretty accurate representation. These animals are quite intimidating, and the larger the number, the more dangerous they become. The true strength of these African animals lies in their incredible tactical abilities and relentlessly provocative teamwork, like a group of the worst bullies on the playground, all working together. Number 11. Komodo dragon. The strange and marvelous Komodo dragon has the honor of being the heaviest lizard in the world, and it doesn't disappoint. These guys are truly huge and absolutely impressive, even though they can't fly or breathe fire, to say the least. There's something about these extraordinary creatures that leaves me in awe. Komodo dragons are really big. In fact, they can weigh over 130 kilograms. But when you consider that they can eat up to 80% of their own body weight in a single meal, it explains how they manage to reach such impressive sizes. Oh, and these big monitor lizards are psychopaths, seriously. They have some of the most relentless and terrifying hunting skills in the animal kingdom. Although they may seem cute and fun at times, the Komodo dragon actually has a venomous and dangerous bite, which means that even if prey manages to escape its powerful jaws, it will still be in serious trouble. This venom works slowly, causing gradual paralysis in the unlucky target until it becomes completely defenseless. That's when the dragon begins its feast. As if the idea of being devoured alive by a wild lizard wasn't enough to give you nightmares, you should know that these guys do occasionally attack humans, and they're not exactly picky about whether the person is alive or dead. These grave robber reptiles are known to dig up bodies and eat them. For the Komodo dragon, the more rotten and stinky the meat, the better. Number 12. The African lion. The mighty African lion is literally a symbol of strength, power, and bravery. There must be good reasons why these big cats have been seen as totems of strength throughout history, so let's explore just how powerful the African lion really is. African lions are the second largest of the big cats, only the tiger is a bit bigger. They have extremely strong and muscular bodies, with powerful legs and shoulders built for stalking, chasing, and leaping. Although a lion doesn't spend much time running, preferring a more laid-back lifestyle, when it decides to show off its skills, it can reach speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. Another superpower, exclusive to these big cats, is their incredible ability to roar. An African lion's roar can reach up to 114 decibels, like being next to an amplifier at a very loud concert, and can be heard from 8 kilometers away. Lions are certainly very powerful, but they don't waste their energy and spend 16 to 20 hours a day resting or sleeping. They can eat up to a quarter of their body weight in each meal, so it's no wonder these guys need so much sleep. This is more than your dad can eat on Thanksgiving Day, I suppose. Number 13. The African elephant. Elephants are magnificent, intelligent, and famous for being herbivores. So what could make these beautiful animals land on a list of deadly creatures? Well, honestly, it's the horrible way humans have treated elephants that caused this. Elephants never forget. It may be an old saying, but it remains true. While they are highly intelligent and sensitive mammals, they also possess extraordinary memories, and many elephants have horrific memories of what humans have done to them and their families. In recent decades, thankfully, greater efforts have been made to protect the species and create areas where elephants can live without the threat of poachers. However, as life on Earth becomes increasingly difficult for many people and animals, the size of these reserves is often not large enough for elephants to avoid human contact. It seems elephants are essentially suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, something humans often experience when exposed to horrific and dangerous experiences. It makes sense that elephants could suffer from this. They remember how most of the bad things that happen to elephants were caused by humans, so you can imagine how an elephant feels about humans. And yes, it can end very badly when they cross paths. Number 14. The honey badger. Everyone knows that honey badgers are crazy. This doesn't even need to be said. But did you know that these brutes are also practically fearless? They have one of the toughest and most robust hides in the animal kingdom, and are notoriously hard to kill, even for predators with sharp teeth. They're almost bulletproof and can certainly dodge arrows, spears, and machetes, so most bites from other animals mean nothing to them. And a simple snake is no problem for these tough creatures. Even if bitten, it makes no difference because they have an adaptation that makes them immune to venom and defenses against neurotoxins found in snake bites. A snake bite, or even eating a venomous reptile whole for dinner, doesn't affect them at all. In fact, up to 25% of the honey badger's diet consists of snakes. Delicious. With nearly bulletproof skin, total indifference to deadly snakes, and a general disregard for anything. It's no wonder that our friends at the Guinness Book of World Records have recognized the honey badger as the most fearless creature in the world. Number 15. The jaguar. The muscular and powerful jaguar can grow up to about 1.8 meters in length and is just slightly smaller than the largest big cats, like tigers and lions. While the jaguar hunts its prey in Central America, some of its targets can be quite heavy and dangerous. Facing a huge alligator, caiman, and these guys often take them on and win, is quite incredible. They have huge heads and extraordinarily powerful jaws, with a set of dangerously sharp teeth. The jaguar is very fast, has excellent climbing skills, and loves to swim. This feline is a stealthy hunter, and in general, sneaks up quietly before delivering a decisive strike. Oh, and they also have an impressive deadly move. These powerful jaws can bite through the skull of large prey, sinking their teeth into the brain of the victim, killing it instantly. Number 16. The saltwater crocodile. Do you have any idea which animal is most likely to eat a human? That's right, you guessed it. These monstrous saltwater crocodiles, at least that's what their yearbook says. So, besides being voted most likely to eat a human, what else do we know about these giant crocodilians? Well, these reptiles have a vast range and can be found from India to Southeast Asia and Australia, and they truly deserve the title of largest crocodiles. Typically, these guys measure about 5 meters long and weigh around 450 kilograms. But it's not uncommon to find specimens that reach an impressive 7 meters long and 1,000 kilograms. Scary. The opportunistic saltwater crocodile lurks just below the water's surface, near the shore. It's the perfect spot to grab a meal since many animals head to the water to cool off. When they take a break at the edge, the crocodile seizes its chance and in a swift and sudden move, grabs its prey and pulls it underwater until it drowns. The crocodile is not a picky eater. It will grab anything that passes by, from a monkey to a wild boar, a water buffalo, or even a shark. There aren't many creatures that can escape once a crocodile has locked onto them with its powerful bite. Number 17. The polar bear. If there's one animal on this list you should fear above all others, it's the polar bear. On top of everything, the polar bear is one of the few apex predators on the planet that sees humans as food. That's right. Upon sensing your smell, they see walking chunks of ham dancing before their eyes. For a polar bear, there's no difference between a person and a seal, at least not when it comes to dining options. And the problem is that where polar bears live, food can be scarce. They spend a lot of time nearly starving, so any food is welcome, which makes them extremely dangerous. They are enormous carnivores and need a lot of meat to be satisfied. But this amount of food is hard to find in the frozen Arctic tundra. They are extremely powerful, extremely fast, and can literally rip your head off with a single swipe of their massive paws. Don't be fooled by their furry, cute faces. They will smell you before you even realize they're around. But despite every fiber of your being wanting to run, you should never flee from a polar bear. They'll catch you and eat you. Running only confirms their suspicion that you are their prey. And apparently, the best thing to do is to retreat slowly, but who knows, they might end up eating you anyway. Number 18. The gorilla. Gorillas are among the closest relatives to humans in the entire animal kingdom. As large primates, we share a lot in common with these extraordinary animals, and we all know how dangerous humans can be. So, if gorillas shared any of the psychotic traits that humans seem to have, these big guys could turn out to be very dangerous. But in reality, it seems that gorillas are actually gentle giants most of the time, and it's just people who are the real jerks. But I guess we already knew that, right? Gorillas only become dangerous when they feel threatened. They usually give a warning. A gorilla signals by stomping its feet, beating its chest, and making a huge racket. This serves to scare off any potential threat, and sometimes this warning is enough to get the message across. But if it isn't, that's when the trouble starts. Gorillas fight dirty. They bite, scratch, and drag their victim, turning everything into a big mess, like a bar fight. Except you're almost certainly going to end up dead. Number 19. The Siberian tiger. The Siberian tiger is especially well adapted to the extremely cold climate in which it lives, in the dense forests of East Asia. It is a very large and powerful creature, capable of capturing and killing virtually anything, no matter the size. Unfortunately for the Siberian tiger, and for the world in general, this magnificent animal is under constant threat of extinction. As usually happens with any of these mysterious and beautiful creatures, especially and ironically when they become rarer, parts of these animals suddenly start being viewed as having mystical properties that can be used for everything from erectile dysfunction to baldness. The illegal and utterly repugnant trade of this endangered animal for supposed medicinal purposes has brought it to the brink of extinction. There are fewer than 500 Amur tigers or Siberian tigers in the world, so very few humans ever get to see these almost mythical creatures. The few that still exist live in the far east of Russia, and some may also exist in China and North Korea, but that's it, nowhere else. Number 20. The water buffalo. Although we're told that this wild bull is feared by leopards, wolves, and bears, I've yet to see any evidence of that. Has anyone done any research on this? Anyway, whether this is the case or not, one of the best things about the water buffalo is, curiously, its Latin name, Bubis boa. It's hilarious, but beyond the obvious charm of its official name, the water buffalo also has some impressive horns and a rather goofy expression. also known as the domestic or Asian water buffalo. These are large, chubby cattle that hail from Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent. Nowadays, they can be found in far-flung places like Italy, Australia, North America, the Balkans, and some parts of Africa. Traditionally, they've been used as working animals, especially strong for plowing rice fields. Their milk is a richer source of protein and fat than that of dairy cattle. They primarily feed on aquatic plants, hence the water part of their name, and have the unusual habit of grazing underwater. When there are floods, they forage submerged and then raise their heads carrying a load of plants. They also love to wallow in mud, covering themselves with a thick layer to help maintain temperature in hot climates. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Don't forget to check out other interesting content appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.